you have to possess a certain amount of that kind of positive, optimistic attitude yourself, in that you continue to put yourself in the most heinous situations for some of these videos that you're putting out,
Yeah.
wrestling with Marines in the water, and these kinds of like
Yeah.
really push yourself to the limits. Do you ever get to the point where you're just like, oh man, I don't think today I can go do that one?
Yeah, I've had stuff like that for sure, where I just like felt like we've had video ideas that I just like this is either too dangerous or yeah, doesn't I don't want to do it, you know. I know that one idea was cheese rolling in the UK.
No.
There's like a steep hill, like steep like
Uh,
this, and they roll it big cheese, and then tons of people run after the cheese downhill, and they all stumble, fall. Like people have died, they break legs and arms, and they're basically hooligans, all of them, just running down these hills. And I was like, yeah, that's where I kind of like, I don't want to get injured. I'm not, that's not, yeah, it's I don't do anything for YouTube really, so that's kind of my limit.
so just so I've got this straight, soloing 1,000 feet with Alex Honnold, okay. Chasing a
Yeah,
wheel of cheese down a hill, too dangerous.
yes, it sounds ridiculous, but you should really see the videos of the men that chase this cheese. It's pretty brutal. So and also like I mean, I have climbed my whole life, so I kind of know what I'm getting into with the climbing, free soloing. I know the risk and everything, but yeah, when once I start running down that hill, I have no idea how it's gonna feel like, no idea the outcome, and there's so many factors of other people running behind you and stuff. Same thing as with like the bull thing where they try to outrun the bull in where's it in
Barcelona.
somewhere in Spain?
Yeah, Barcelona, I think.
Is it in Barcelona? I thought it was like a little
Oh
small,
God, I'm not.
smaller city. Pamplona,
Oh,
yeah,
Pamplona. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That sort of thing too. That's where like, yeah, I'm sure it would make for some good content, but no, I'm just, I'm just not into it.
Oh man, I would watch the hell out of it if you did, but we need you. We need you
Yeah,
in good shape, and I'm glad there's a limit. There's a
yeah.
point at which you say no. I guess the question really on the cheese wheel thing is just how many pints of beer you have before you do it.
That is true. Yeah, yeah. But I think I was a little bit too afraid of messing up or afraid of making a fool out of myself. Like I was a little bit too self conscious when I was a professional climber, and that is one of my regrets looking back. That I should have been more like Adam Ondra or someone like just don't care. People don't care if you mess up. Like it's the same thing before competitions. I was always so nervous. I think we talked about this last time, but just not caring and I mean, it's so much easier to say than to actually do, but yeah, just to have not care too much would have been so much better for me because I was always just getting so nervous and I felt like I had to perform and stuff and yeah, so not to take it too seriously, I think would have been much better for me.
All right, y'all, just a quick shout out here for today's sponsor, which is Rungni. Magnus Midtbø started this company. You know it, you've seen it. But why do I love it? Why should you love it? Well, first of all, their clothes are incredibly soft. They're so comfy. They just came out with this banger spring line of shorts and tees. And whether I'm climbing or whether I'm lounging, I just love how Rungni fits. And then the other stuff they make is incredible. Their chalk bags. I'm so psyched on their chalk bags. They've got a magnetic closure that keeps the chalk inside, but it's also so satisfying to open and close. Premium materials. And then what goes inside that chalk bag? Magnus chalk. It's so good. Whether I'm struggling on the moon board or struggling on my project out on rock, that mag dust is keeping my fingers nice and sticky. You guys can check it all out at that link below and use code STRUGGLE to score 15% off. Let's go. So you've made videos with some of the best climbers and also just general athletes in the world, Magnus.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what stand out as the most memorable experiences and maybe what have helped you to grow?
Well, I mean, the most memorable experience is probably Alex Honnold, free solo with him. I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably the one I'm gonna remember for the longest. But
Maybe the one
when
you'd
it
like to
comes to
forget?
athletes and stuff, I yeah, I I Anton, who's a Ninja Warrior athlete, is one of the most skilled people I've met, I think. He is so good, and also how fast he picked up climbing. From basically the first time I saw him, he had rental shoes and was climbing like V7, V8, and probably never really climbed before. He's such a talented guy when it comes to a lot of stuff. So he's one of the people that I was like really blown away by how, yeah, just how good he was at everything. And he has like a normal job and everything. And he told me about like how he came over from Russia, and he said like he's had quite the journey. He's never really talked about that on YouTube, but he's experienced some stuff. So he's one of the people who really stood out to me and who I've kept in contact with, and I consider a really good friend.
And why is it like I'm so fascinated by people like him, because those videos are like mind blowing. Like, what do you think is it that allows him to adapt so quickly to these things that, you know, typically for climbers we would say, oh, it'll take years to develop the tendon strength and the muscle strength and that kind of thing to do it. And then you see people like him, and you know, there are others out there that you know, I don't know, Devin Lorap, maybe not so much, but you know, because sometimes it's hard when you weigh 300 pounds to pull yourself up, no matter how strong your hand and your forearms are. But you know, how can somebody like that adapt at almost like a superhuman pace, do you think?
I think it has a lot to do with his background. He's done a lot of similar stuff in the past. So I mean, he comes from like doing OCR, so obstacle course racing, Ninja Warrior stuff, and but I've never seen anyone pick up climbing as quickly as he has. And I remember because I met him before he started YouTube even, and I was thinking that because he started YouTube, we started kind of together, and then he got a channel and stuff, and I was like, oh, this stuff is gonna blow up like crazy. But for some reason, he's still like, I mean, he has a huge YouTube channel, but I don't think he gets the recognition that he deserves, really, because a lot of the stuff that he does is crazy, like doing backflips from 10 meters, just landing on a little mattress. Like, he's like super, he's just not afraid. I think that's the main thing. He's not afraid of making a fool out of himself. I think that's really important. You know, he goes into it just like, he doesn't have an ego. He doesn't, I think he can put that aside, and this is a little bit the same thing with Adam Ondra too. You know, that was something I was so fascinated about. He doesn't care about like falling on a 6C slab in the gym. Like, he'll just try it and just laugh it off. You know, a lot of, I think especially pro climbers, when they go into a gym and like they feel very self-conscious, they don't want to, like, they have a reputation and stuff. But I think the people who does the best, they just like, they don't have much of an ego, and they're not afraid to mess up. That is the main thing. And it's the same thing with Anton too. Like, it's like, can you do this, Anton? Yeah, sure. Or I'll try. You know, he has just this like positive attitude.
Hey, if you really liked this conversation here with Magnus, what a good guy. I talked with him for almost 2 hours on the podcast, where he shared all sorts of training tips and tricks, and also a bunch of stories that I'd never heard before, some crazy ones, in fact. And it's all right there on the podcast for zero cost. So check it out.